and welcome back to my channel. I'm super happy that you're here today, and I am so excited to be sharing with you my new island, which is the island of Kohaku, which is going to be a Studio Ghibli inspired island. I've been thinking about doing a Studio Ghibli island probably since I got the game, and I don't know why. I've just been so nervous to do it. I just really wanted to do it perfectly, and so I've kind of agonized for a long time, but I just decided we're just gonna do it today. I did go ahead and set up a little mood board over here by the entrance with all of the codes that I found for this island, as well as some of the items that I'm hoping to use and kind of the general vibe. I didn't really agonize over making this look like the most aesthetic ever. I just kind of wanted to throw everything down. I do feel like this helps me so much to be able to see if everything is going to work cohesively together. If you haven't seen my video yet about 5 steps to plan your island, I'll link that above, but I definitely talk more about why I create these little mood boards or little areas and why they're helpful to me. But I figured I'd go ahead and show you the map for Kohaku. So here it is. I did go ahead and move on pretty much all of the villagers that I'm hoping to have for this island, except for a few that I'm not so sure about, but I'm hopeful to leave the river mouths and the rivers themselves very much the way that they are on this map. I'm hoping that that can be the actual Kohaku River, and yeah, so we'll see how that goes as we get deeper into the island. I might have to shift things over a little bit, but that's my hope, I guess, for the map. But definitely let me know if there are some villagers that you would love to see on this island. Of course, Kiki has to stay because she's baby, but I'm gonna go ahead and plan out the entrance here. My hope for the entrance was to do something inspired by the beginning of Spirited Away, where the family's driving in the car and they come across that like abandoned little area, and then they walk through, and then of course the movie starts. But I'll go ahead and place the photo that I was referring to as my inspiration for the entrance. I'll plop that on the screen for you guys to see. But I love this road path right here because it has this overgrown kind of leafy edge, and it just blends so well. The island right now is set at the beginning of, I think, September. I almost said June, but yeah, the beginning of September, and so the grass is super green. This is one of my favorite times to decorate, but I really want this island to be very lush and overgrown in a lot of the areas. There'll be some other like market kind of areas as well, but overwhelmingly that's what I'm going for. So I think that the super green grass at this time of year is going to be absolutely perfect. Again, I'm sorry if you hear Beans in the background. He always has to make a little cameo in every video, but right now I'm just kind of mapping out how I want the path to go. The one thing I don't love about this pathing is it doesn't have any of those like smaller pieces that allow you to get a little bit more twisty and turny with the path. So I do feel like that's something I don't enjoy, but I'm just gonna keep going with it and see if I can make it work. But I am super obsessed with the medieval building side, the castle wall, castle gate in this particular variation. I think it's so perfect for the vibes on this island, especially with all of the moss and the kind of deteriorating looking bricks. I am so glad that I waited to make a Studio Ghibli island until we got these 2.0 update items, because so many of them are just literally perfect for this theme, and I'm so excited. I can barely contain myself, seriously. I'm gonna use the mini car in the damaged variation to kind of make it look like at the end of the movie when they find their car again and it's all like covered in, you know, stuff because they've been gone for so long. So that's kind of what I'm trying to emulate there with the damaged car. And then I did want to kind of finish off the building here with the castle towers, just make it look more building-like. And then I'm gonna start adding in some more of the greenery. So I'm gonna go with a mixture of cedar trees and hardwood trees, and I'm going to be using lots and lots of different stunted trees to just kind of add dimension to this area. One of the struggles in this particular build was the area in between the castle wall and the actual entrance. I didn't want to do anything that was so tall in that area that it was going to block the build or take away from the build in any way, but I also didn't want it to look empty. So I definitely struggled with some item placement as well. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of kind of kidney bean-ish shaped cliffs on either side here just to kind of block it off, because I don't really want the people visiting the island to be able to go from left or right. I just want them to walk straight through the castle gate. So I figured this would kind of help to polish it off a little bit. And I probably should have mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you're noticing that the camera is a little bit weird, it has like those black kind of edges at the end, I'm actually building this island right now on my spicy switch. If you're not sure what a spicy switch is, it is a switch that's running custom firmware. I think a lot of people used to call call this like jailbreaking or modding. And so this switch has a wide angle camera. You've probably seen if you frequent Animal Crossing social media that people often have wide angle photos taken of their island, and this is the type of switch that you can take those kind of photos on. So I really like decorating with the spicy switch because I get this wider angle of the camera, but you can really see at certain points here that the camera is so big that it sort of glitches out in the back. So I promise I won't always decorate or do speed builds with that camera mode on. I just kind of wanted to try it for the first video and see, you know, see how it is, see what you guys think about it, see how I felt about it decorating. But I won't always do that. I'm actually planning to transfer this island over to my not spicy switch once I finish Foxgrove 2.0. So it won't be a modded island. You'll still be able to visit just like everything else. And I'm not doing anything on the island that you couldn't do on a regular island. So yeah, it won't be like a crazy modded island or anything. I'm just taking advantage of the wide angle camera. But I wanted to create a little sitting spot here by the entrance. I love this little retro transportation stop. I think it fits the vibes so well. Again, looks really overgrown and rustic, but I did want to place a custom design underneath it. I just feel like it adds another level of I don't know, visual interest and detail that I really enjoy. I love these little stones with that kind of moss on them. I just think they're so beautiful, and I like that they're kind of bright white because they really add a nice like texture contrast between that road, I think. I also wanted to incorporate some of these pine trees, which I think help to give it more of a Japanese sort of style. Right now, I don't feel like it has a super Japanese vibe whatsoever, so I do feel like, for whatever reason, to me, those pine trees kind of add that in a little bit. I was kind of planning on adding in more bamboo items, but as I started to place them, they just weren't looking right with this build, so I will have to do that for a future build on this island. We'll just have to see how that all comes together, but I did want to place a couple of street lamps and other sort of lit items because I do kind of want to be able to enjoy this build at night and have it look very whimsical and lit up. So I'm going to be placing like some candles around and some street lamps and, you know, things like that. There's one of those moments that I was trying to use a bamboo item and it just doesn't look right for whatever reason. So I did want to place some bug models around this build as well because it's supposed to be really overgrown. So I was thinking that, you know, the bugs and animals were probably taking over this space after a while. And then I did decide to switch out that weed with a wheat field because I think the height of it just looks so much better there next to the glowing moss statue, and it makes it look so much more overgrown. I'm so excited to be able to use the vines. I've actually never used them because they just don't look right in the wintertime, much less on a like European kind of themed island. So this is the first time I'm using them and I was really excited. They just add so much to this build. Makes me want to do a forest core island, which I've been saying for so long. That might have to come after the Studio Ghibli island is finished. We'll just do another like classic forest core island. I did actually make one forest core island when I was starting this channel, which admittedly is nearly a year ago. That's pretty crazy. But if you wanted to go back and check out some of those videos, I honestly don't know how good they are now, but I guess you guys can be the judge of that. But I did want to place the wheat fields around the car just to make it look like very overgrown, like it's been overtaken by this area. Those wheat fields are such a beautiful, beautiful item. I'm so excited to use them. That's another item that I don't feel I've really been able to take advantage of on the Foxgrove 2.0 because they just don't really look right in the wintertime. But now I'm going to go ahead and add in some stunted trees here. Like I said before, filling in this area in the front of this build was really challenging because I didn't want to take away from the focal points of the build, but I also didn't want it to look too empty. So I'm playing around here with using some mush items to add that kind of like whimsical overgrown element, as well as stunted trees at varying heights. I did initially only want to use the green mums on this island, but I decided that they were looking just a little bit repetitive, so I'm going to go ahead and throw my other favorite flower, the white cosmos, around the island as well. I absolutely love those little mushrooms that I found. I think they're so whimsical. I honestly don't know how well they fit with this theme because they definitely scream fall to me, but I just love the way they look with that particular customization of the mush log, so I'm not quite ready to give it up yet, if I'm being honest. But I do love the little pops of white that the white cosmos are giving, so I think I'll go ahead and start incorporating them on this island. I also really wanted to incorporate this skeleton item that we just got in the 2.0 update. I don't know if it's like a little bit creepy. I'm not trying to make it creepy, but I just think that it looks like really cool and mossy and overgrown. So, and then I realized I have all of these Studio Ghibli codes, but I haven't really used them. So I start to incorporate these little umbrella designs with the kodama peeking out, and they're just so precious. I love them so much. I do kind of feel like it looks cool when you place bushes around those because the leaves already look like bushes. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I think I'll be using these tea olive bushes all over the island because they have those really bushy leaves, if you know what I mean. I just think that they are gonna really suit the vibe here. I didn't want to fill in this cliff with anything that was going to really take away from the focal point of the build. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some flowers, weeds. You know, I love the walking leaf here. It just looks super, super cool. It's one of my favorite bug models. And then weeds, of course, they don't take away from much. I realized towards the end of the build here that I hadn't used any fencing, and I felt like that looked a little strange. So I'm going to go ahead and use the log fencing. I'm not sure if I'll use that consistently throughout the island, but I think for the entrance, it looks really cool here. Definitely didn't expect it to work as well as I think it does, but I think I'm gonna go with that. And then I just wanted to use the glowing moss jar there because I think it's super cute. And we're getting pretty close to finishing out the first part of this build. Once I kind of finished this area, I'm gonna add another kodama umbrella here. I wanted to add some dimension to the back of the actual castle itself because it's looking very flat right now. I also wanted to find a way to make it look like you're kind of going through that dark tunnel that they go through at the beginning of the movie. And I wasn't sure how to do that. I thought about simple panels, like black simple panels, but I don't feel like that's going to be very aesthetically pleasing. So I gave that idea up. And I just decided to add some cliffs there, but I'm just adding a little finishing touch here, another few kodamas sitting at the beginning of the entrance, which I think kind of give it a more Studio Ghibli or Ghibli kind of vibe from the get-go. But I'm gonna go ahead and build up these cliffs on either side, and I'm just gonna leave a single path in between for you to enter through, which I think is probably the best thing that I can think of to do to give it that that sort of vibe that I'm looking for. I think that the simple panels are just going to look a little bit busy and just kind of not quite right. So if you guys have any ideas for how to add that sort of tunnel-like element into this build, I definitely would be interested in hearing your thoughts. As for other builds that I'm planning for this island, I really want to do the forest from Princess Mononoke, and I'm really excited to be using some of the glowing moss items for that particular build. I also know that I want to build the bathhouse from Spirited Away. I really want to build the bakery that's in Kiki's Delivery Service. Let's see, what else was I thinking of? I want to make another little forest area for a Totoro to be sleeping in. But definitely let me know if you guys are interested in seeing me recreate any specific builds from any of the movies. I would love to hear your suggestions. I hope you guys are as excited about this theme as I am. I know that it's kind of a niche sort of thing, so I hope that's okay. And thank you for bearing with me as I just try new things and new themes. I really appreciate that so much because I know that not everybody is going to be interested in every theme that I'm working on, but the fact that you still come and hang out just means the absolute world to me. But I'm going to go ahead and sort of finish up adding in some different elements into this build. I loved putting in the tall lanterns in front of the window. I feel like it really finishes off that like overgrown building vibe so well, and it kind of blocked the window as well on the medieval building side, which I actually really enjoy. I did want to include some trees on the cliff behind here just to kind of make it feel even more overgrown. I didn't really share my cliff decoration there here because it really wasn't anything super crazy or special, but that is going to finish off the build today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I had so much fun working on this island, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. Before we say goodbye, I do want to take a second to thank the members of the Fox fam for supporting my work here on this channel. You can also support the channel by liking and subscribing and hitting that notification bell if you'd like to be notified when I upload. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!